everybody, and welcome to Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. I am your host, Wizzy Puff. And of course, with me is your other host, Ross.
Hey, bang bang, pew pew, blah 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 blast. Oh god, I'm dead now. God, do the podcast without me. I'm going to bed.
Oh, well, I guess this is going to be the first single Wizzy episode where I pretend to be Ross.
Imagine if I did just stop. Gosh, I wonder, would you have enough integrity to continue?
I would definitely continue out of spite, mainly.
And I would respect you for it.
My impression of you would be very offensive.
Good.
To Italian people, mainly.
Huh. All right. It's a curious group to be offensive towards.
It was something when I was playing Mario. I got really, really hateful towards all of Italy.
I don't blame you. Worm Watch.
Ooh?
I saw Dune Part 2.
Oh, and it made you think of Worm?
Well, there are a bunch of big worms in it. Of course it made me think of Worm.
Yo.
Everything makes me think of Worm.
Is that where they get the giant sandworms?
Yeah.
Yo, I love those guys.
The Alaskan bullworm.
That's not the worm. It's his tongue.
Good shit. So, yeah, I liked the first Dune. I didn't know what was going to happen because I only ever looked up a plot synopsis of Dune, the book, like once, and I forgot everything about it. So I went into Dune Part 2 pretty dang blind on what was going to happen. And yeah, the first Dune was just fine. The second one, holy cow, it might legitimately be my favorite science fiction movie of all time.
Dang.
It was so good.
I'm surprised that you could go from that to that in a sequel.
Yeah, be surprised. Continue to be surprised for the rest of your life.
When I was watching the original Shrek, I thought it was good. And I thought the sequel, Shrek 2, even better. But that's like the biggest improvement I've seen in quality from a sequel.
Interesting. To be fair to the first Dune, I didn't go see it in theaters. So maybe that hindered my experience with it a bit. Because it's a film that you should really see in the theater.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is massive in scope.
That's how I want to watch all action movies.
God, just everything in Dune Part 2. And probably not everything, but like, I can't think of a single huge flaw for me.
Did they have the spice?
That they did. They did have the spice, yep.
Yeah, that's one thing I knew about Dune.
That's one thing my sister knew about Dune. She didn't see the first one, so she went into this pretty much blind, except for, I believe, spice, worms, and sand.
Oh my god, that was literally the three things I was going to name.
If you've heard of Dune, that's going to be things that you know, so.
There was, in Enter the Gungeon, they had an item that was called spice, and had to look it up after playing that and realized where it came from.
Ah, fun. That's enjoyable.
Yeah. Highly recommend Enter the Gungeon.
Will check out at some point. Yeah, I've had a few people recommend Enter the Gungeon.
Probably one of the best bullet hell roguelikes.
I bet. I'm curious what they're going to do with the next Dune film, because they seem to be setting it up for the third one.
Oh, does the books continue there?
If you don't know about the book sequels, and to be fair, I know nothing about the sequels. I just know this one little fact. They're apparently really controversial in the Dune fan base.
Oh boy.
So I've heard. I'm curious where they're gonna go with that.
Is it like the Star Wars prequels?
I cannot tell you.
I have no idea. The only thing I've heard about those is that they're controversial in the fandom.
They are. Not so much anymore. The controversial side has pretty much gone to the sequels. The sequel trilogy of films.
The latest.
Yeah. And, well, if you ask me, those ones are great. So, anyways, speaking of great things, Wizzy, What's the best ship in My Little Pony?
The Titanic.
Fuck you, it's Raripie.
I've never gotten to experience Raripie yet. I've seen Rara Jack.
Of course.
But that's the only Rarity ship I've actually really had in the fanfictions yet. Except for like her and Prince Blueblood.
I don't think we've experienced that.
In one of the fics, there was her having a big old crush on Prince Blueblood as like a comedy bit mainly.
I don't remember that.
It's one of the like 6 characters types stories.
Huh. Alrighty then. Well, Raripie is the best ship. It is cute. I will not be taking any questions. Thank you very much.
I hope you're right.
Let's see. In
Think of You by Misty Meadow.
Misty Meadow. Now that's an interesting name. Where the hell have I heard that name before?
Definitely sounds like a My Little Pony character.
Misty Meadow. Misty Meadow. Misty Meadows.
Ah, yes, that was the last name of the character Misty from Pokemon.
Well, alright. Don't know how I would have heard of it then.
I don't even know if that character has a last name.
Who's to say? Alright. We should get to reading this then.
Chapter 1.
The only chapter.
Think of You. Twilight Sparkle and Rainbow Dash sat together, wings over each other's backs. Yo, this is also a Twidash fic?
Unexpected, but not unwelcome.
The more gay couples, the better. Holding each other's foreleg, they sat on a couch in their library, nervous smiles on their faces as they faced the 2 mares on the other side of the table. Across from them, Rarity and Pinkie shared a couch. Each sat at opposing ends, up against the rests. Twilight rubbed her neck with her free foreleg.
I want to thank you both for coming here. I know things haven't been the best between you two, but we want to ask you something that's very important to us.
And, do you want to be Pinkie or Rarity?
Don't worry, darling. You know all of us wouldn't hesitate to help you. What do you need?
Rarity cast a glance across at Pinkie, before looking back to the couple.
Yeah, thanks, Raz. We know you do.
Rainbow smiled at her.
The thing is, Twi and Mai's 15th anniversary is coming up, and we wanted it to be special.
These ponies are so old now.
Oh my god, you're right. What are they, 35 or something?
God, take them out back and shoot them already. My goodness.
Yeah, I guess in horse time, that's actually quite a bit older.
Ooh.
Pinkie squealed, nearly bouncing out of her seat.
That's fantastic.
And we've been thinking, since you guys did our wedding party, and you know I don't like all that cutesy-wootsy stuff.
The other 3 mares in the room looked at her, eyebrows synced in a joint frown. Rainbow coughed.
Okay, so maybe I do a little. But the point is, the event you two put on for us made Cadence's wedding look like a kindergarten party.
Twilight pulled Rainbow into a hug.
You know, we had less than a week to plan that.
She nuzzled her lightly.
But you are right. We know there has been some tension between you two, but we were hoping you could put aside your differences to help us make this special.
Twilight looked down at them both, sheepish and hopeful. Pinkie and Rarity glanced at each other, and back at their friends, with Rarity breaking the silence. As I said, we would always help a friend. I'm sure that Pinkie and I can be professional and work together on one more party, especially something of this importance. She turned to Pinkie, a smile ever present on her face. Pinkie vibrated in her seat.
Of course we can. This is about you, not us.
Realizing what she had said, she and Rarity grimaced slightly.
I knew that this was probably going to be how this story was going to go, but ooh, this is the first Raripie one we read.
This isn't going to be a breakup fic, is it?
I'm actually rooting for a breakup fic right now.
Oh no.
Just because I think that would be really funny.
I hope it's written like really sad then. Really, really sad.
I hope they have like some just a terrible falling out that's just really rough to read. And you're like, but you two, come on. Why can't you just fix things? And you like understand both sides.
Gonna be like something really bad happens and then Rarity dies and Pinkie throws a party to celebrate.
Jesus. That's... Jesus.
Yeah, something real dark.
Was not expecting that. I just want the trauma, not some fucked up... You know what? Sure, let's get that hyper drama.
All right, where were we?
Thank you. Really, both of you.
Twilight saved them.
It isn't for another month. Is that going to be enough time for you?
Twilight? Rarity scolded her. Back then, we could have done it in 3 days. With how smoothly we ran.
Yeah.
Pinky sighed, her smile dipping a bit. A silence building. Rainbow stepped in this time.
Really, we'd owe you one, even after we'd paid you. So thanks, girls.
No payment necessary, darling. We do this for you.
I'm doing this for you.
Is that a reference?
That's a reference to the fourth Equestria Girls movie, Legends of Everfree. The villain is kind of like screwed up, and she thinks that she's like helping people or something. It's a bit more complicated than that. She's a tree lady.
She's just like sicking police on innocent citizens and saying, "Why can't you see I'm helping you?"
Yeah, no, that's not what it is. But, you know, she just thinks that she's doing the right thing, but she's not. I guess, you know, typical villain stuff there.
Is she Fizzlepop Berry Twist?
No. We don't get an Equestria Girls Fizzlepop Berry Twist.
Oh, that's right. You said Equestria Girls. I was just thinking movie villain. Pinky stared at Rarity after her declaration, but held her tongue. Soon, the pair said their goodbyes and headed out of the castle, finding themselves alone on the front steps. An awkward silence hovered over them like a dark cloud. Both of the mares unable to look at each other.
What did you mean, payment not necessary?
Pinky's tone was cold. Look, Pinky, I know what I said back then, and I've come to understand I was wrong. Can we talk about...
Rarity, just stop it.
Rarity blinked. Her normally bouncing friend had lost her soft look, and her voice was quite harsh.
I agreed to work with you on this for them. Don't think I have forgiven you. Oh, jeez, did she hide your sock or something? What the fuck?
Oh, is that a Pinkie Pie reference that I remember?
No.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
I don't know.
Legitimately, I just said that.
Really?
Random. If anything, I was referencing G3 of My Little Pony. When I said sock, I remembered A Very Minty Christmas, which I think had something involving socks.
This feels like a planted memory after you said that, where I just remember something about Pinkie Pie having a special sock. But it sounds like her thing, so it kind of made sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if she had a special sock. That's a pretty funny idea.
And with that, Pinkie walked off without bouncing or looking back. Rarity was still upset by the time she got home. Stepping through the door to her boutique, the gloominess of the interior matched her mind, and she waded in, not bothering to turn on the lights. Reaching the back room, oh no.
I was going to say that.
She planted herself down on her fainting couch. Letting her eyes wander the bleak room. Each time her eyes caught on one of the changes Pinkie had made, or a color she added, her mind jumped back to before. Knowing she would have to face it eventually, Rarity lit her horn and pulled a large trunk out from under the stairs. Pulling it over to her, she felt the resistance of the heavy trunk, and with a slight grunt, dragged it over next to her. The lid was covered in dust, untouched for almost 2 long years. Rarity instantly regretted flipping the lid up, the dust causing her to cough a few times. That's how she coughs.
That is such a her cough.
Yeah, it's only how she coughs in private, of course. She has to cough much more gracefully in others' presences.
Of course.
Once she had finished, she leaned over and peered down into the trunk. She was greeted with a vast sway of colored papers, somewhat muted in the light of the room. Using her magic, she flipped the light on, and the topmost papers became clear. Each piece was headed with the name Elegant Surprise, along with the logo, 3 diamonds, each containing a balloon. She picked up one of the nearest booklets. It was their first pamphlet together, the pair smiling in front of Twilight and Dash's wedding cake. Rarity quickly put it away, lest her tears ruin it. 15 years ago.
Wow, Rarity. You know how to put together an awesome wedding.
Now, Pinky, don't leave yourself out of the praise. Your reception was to die for. This sounds like they, murdered someone. This is, getting to a really dark kind of a wedding.
I hope that's what happened.
Yeah, turns out they were murderers together.
How sweet.
Pinky giggled, then her face went straight. Oh no, not straight.
Just as long as no one dies.
Rarity looked at her as if she'd grown a second head, before she started giggling again.
Today's festivities have been a most wondrous affair.
A joyous voice spoke.
Princess Luna?
They both gasped, dropping into a deep bow immediately.
Please, just Luna. We are friends, are we not?
Pinky and Rarity picked themselves up from their bow, nodding.
Good. As I said, your party has been one of the finest I have ever been to. Would you entertain an idea?
Certainly, Luna. I would love to hear an idea from you. Nodding, Pinky agreed with Rarity.
How would you two like to form a company, sponsored by the Crown? From the events I have been invited to, I have to admit, yours are always better.
Pinky and Rarity looked at each other, both wearing ear-to-ear grins. We're in! Whew! Rarity wiped her brow, exhausted. That has got to have been both the most difficult and most fun event we have ever done. An anniversary, birthday, and a cute Senora all rolled into one. How did we ever manage that?
Yeah, that was a blast.
Pinky put away the last of her supplies.
But I couldn't have done it without you, Rare Bear.
Is that something they call her in the show at all? Rare Bear?
I don't remember, but I think maybe. I don't know. It sounds familiar enough.
I think they've used it in a few fics at this point.
Then maybe.
Huh. Rarity blinked at the name. Pinky had been calling her it more often of late, but she let it go. Then again, they had been spending a lot more time together. When she wasn't busy at Sugar Cube Corner, or they weren't out as a group, Pinky could be found at hers, planning for events or cataloging ideas. Truth be told, Rarity found herself feeling somewhat lonely during the hours she wasn't here. Having zoned out from introspection, she never noticed that Pinky had moved to stand next to her, shoulder pressed to hers.
You okay in there, Rare Bear?
The white mare sprang up, much like a cat, and squeaked. Pinky rolled onto the floor, laughing uncontrollably. Composing herself, Rarity went to scold her, but when she saw the mirth on Pinky's face, she found she couldn't muster the anger. Instead, she joined her in laughter, eventually falling onto her couch. Pinky joined her, the pair giggling like school fillies. As it petered out, Pinky let out a large yawn. Looking at the clock, Rarity saw how late it was. Oh my, is it really 11:30?
Oh no! Mr. and Mrs. Cake will have gone to bed by now. They're not going to be happy with me picking them up to let me in.
Pinky's...
Oh no. This is such an inconvenience.
Such high stakes. Pinky's smile fell, and Rarity felt her heart break. She mulled around in her head as Pinky got up and walked towards the door, head hung low. Wait, you could stay here if you want.
Huh?
Rarity coughed. That's the, cough she uses in front of people.
Oh.
I said you could stay here tonight. I have a spare room. Pinky's face lit up, only to droop again as Rarity continued. Oh, wait. Mother and Father filled it with Sweetie Belle's things when they moved.
Okay, thanks, Eddie.
Wait a minute, Pinky. My bed is more than big enough for 3 ponies, if you're willing to share.
Along with The other one.
Ooh. Prince
Leeway.
Blueblood. That's who they're with.
Oof.
Yeah.
Way to make it so much less hot.
Pinky's muzzle became a different shade of pink, but the smile she wore was the biggest Rarity had seen all day.
Sure.
Rarity was standing at the edge of a large hall. What seemed like a gala was in progress, except that no pony was having fun. The room and the decorations were all shades of black and gray, as were the guests, and the music's dull tone could barely be heard over the low hum of conversation. When she tried to engage one of the guests, he merely stared through her, droning on about something boring. Rarity ran the length of the hall. There was food being served, but it was all prim and proper. Nothing with flavor or pizzazz. I thought that said pizzas at first.
Oh, God damn it. Apparently me going off of very little sleep in the past week is like, it gives me like a connection with you, I guess.
You're now on the same brain level as I.
Same
much lower
wave.
than the regular humans.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, kid.
Don't be modest. It's much lower than that. But I'm...
No. Stop being mean to yourself.
Yeah, you're just going to be the one who's going to be mean, huh?
I mean, that was kind of my shtick, in the past. So
now I'm going to be really mean to myself, and it's going to look really bad whenever you're also doing it.
No. Wizzy, you're a dick sometimes. Fuck you.
Then something dawned on her. Where's Pinky? Running around, she couldn't see a speck of pink anywhere, and she felt tears in her eyes. Where's Pinky? As she reached the head of the gala, she found the royal sisters upon the dais, also grayscale. Falling to the floor before them, she began sobbing, until a hoof touched her shoulder. Looking up, the gray Princess Luna was now a distinct blue, and her eyes glowed white.
Wake up.
Rarity jerked forward and pulled something with her. Her breathing was labored, and she could feel sweat all over her coat. It took her a moment to find out that Pinky was wrapped around her, hugging her tight. So Princess Luna is playing Cupid. Dang.
Oh, Luna. Thank the princesses you're all right.
Pinky's words were slightly muffled through Rarity's mane. What happened, darling? Images flashed through her mind, causing her to hug Pinky back. Pinky sniffed.
You were thrashing about, calling out for me. I kept saying I was right here, but you couldn't hear me.
Pinky sniffed again.
You scared me.
Rarity pulled her tight. I'm so sorry, Pinky. I'd never scare you like that on purpose. Pinky nodded.
I know, Rare Bear.
She went to pull away, but Rarity wouldn't let her. Stay, please. They lay back, legs around one another, and swiftly fell asleep, a pattern that would soon become normal for both of them. Pinky and Rarity stood at the edge of a small town hall, watching a filly celebrate her 10th birthday. The pair stood with sides together, and their tails entwined, smiling.
Ooh.
So is this 10th birthday their child? Mm-hmm. Or is this going to be like a Sweetie Belle?
I think Sweetie Belle probably would have already had her 10th birthday, but
oh,
I'm guessing this is just random kid.
Okay.
Because, party planner.
Right. It really is magical watching you make the day for a small filly or colt. I get to watch you bring a fraction of what I feel to others. Rarity turned and pecked her on the cheek. Turning a darker pink, her mare friend giggled.
Anything else for tomorrow? For the Canterlot party?
Rarity hummed. Not that I can think of, sweetheart. I'm sorry that picking this means we miss 2 birthdays, but we really do need the bits this one will bring in. Sighing, Pinky nuzzled her.
I know. It's okay.
Rarity nudged her. Come on, the birthday filly is about to open her presents. Pinky smiled and followed Rarity into the fray once more.
One of the presents is a bomb.
No! Little
little filly.
I want to do the quinceanera.
Rarity put a hoof to her temple.
I know, Pinky, but takings have been low this month. We would be better off accepting Noble Era's social function.
But those parties are so boring.
No, they aren't, darling. They're just slightly more sophisticated than your preferred fare.
Are you saying I'm foolish?
Pinky asked. Her voice had a sharp edge.
No, I'd hate to see something we put so much effort into come to an end.
Rarity looked down at the floor. Pinky reached over and lifted Rarity's chin.
I know. I don't want it to either. We'll do Noble Era's event.
Rarity squeed.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
She kissed her mare friend before scarpering off. Scarpering?
Nice.
And she missed the glare leveled at her back. The pair sat across from each other in their inspiration room. Rarity had long since stopped calling anything in the house hers. Rarity was going over the ledgers when Pinky was arranging her collection of streamers.
Pinky, darling, I really think galas and social gatherings are where we need to focus our business.
Rarity, you know I enjoy the parties more.
I know you do, but we're not doing so well financially. Gatherings of nobles are where the money is, so that's where we need to be.
Pinky was getting frustrated. This was about the 5th time Rarity had made this argument.
Is money really that important to you?
Of course it is. This is a business. What could be more important than that?
Yeah, I think Rarity has kind of a point. It is a business.
Yeah.
And if money's been a bit tight lately...
From a capitalist perspective.
Pinky looked at Rarity, tears forming in the corners of her eyes.
Spending time with each other.
Tears now flowing freely. She ran from the room. Present day. Rarity breathed out. She could do this. Twilight had been kind enough to lend them a room in the castle with which they could plan. She knew that they would likely be uncomfortable back in their old workroom. Placing a hoof on the door, Rarity pushed it open, not knowing what to expect. When she looked in, it took her breath away. Not only had Pinky already set up, she had arranged everything just like they used to. Nostalgia struck hard, and as Rarity swept her gaze left, she spotted something that knocked her to her knees. Pinky had made a replica of her workstation. Everything from the position of the seat to the cushions and creature comforts. Pinky had remembered everything, and had taken the time to set it up. But Pinky didn't even look at her. She kept working on her task. Cut to the quick, Rarity pulled herself together and got herself situated. Pinky was planning the after-party, so that left the wedding itself for her. She needed a distraction, so she dived into her work. As the first day came to a close, neither of them said a word to one another.
Wah, wah.
Did you just go womp womp?
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you.
The second day passed just like the first, with both mares working together but apart, and in complete silence. You know, I gotta say, this fic is kind of making me want them to get back together.
I'll be honest. I want things to go terribly still.
Even though Rarity was kind of a jerk, I really want to see her make it right with Pinky, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I get that. But, like, isn't it so much more powerful if you just do something so messed up, at least in Pinky's eyes, that she doesn't even forgive you? Pinkie Pie, of all people.
Oh, jeez. That's so true. I still want to know. I want to know what that line was from before. Gonna have to figure that out. Payment not necessary. That was the line.
Oh, I think it's pretty obvious.
Is it?
Yeah, she's not getting paid for this one. It's her trying to make it right in her own way.
Oh, I thought that was like an allusion to something in their past, maybe.
Kind of was with the whole Rarity and money thing.
Well, yeah, but I just mean like
this is a business.
I thought maybe she said it in the past, you know. But I guess what you're saying does make a lot of sense.
Jeez, Wizzy, read between the lines.
There's nothing there. It's just space.
Read with your heart, Wizzy.
Ooh, I got a pacemaker. Gonna be hard. The second day passed just like the first, with both mares working together but apart. and in complete silence. It wasn't until the end of the third day that Rarity decided to break the trend. As the pair cleaned up for the day, she used her magic to help Pinky move some of the heavier items she was working with. Once done, she said goodnight to her and left, not noticing the twitching at the edges of Pinky's mouth. On the fourth day... Wait, what happened on the fourth day? Ross, Bible, quick.
Wait, what?
When God was creating the world, what did he do on the fourth day?
Oh, I can't remember.
I was hoping you'd have it memorized.
I could probably remember if I wasn't so sleep deprived.
Gonna have to do this on your day off then. I'm gonna ask you again.
Alrighty then. Better remember that.
On the fourth day, Rarity arrived to find Pinky hard at work, as always. Again, neither said hello, but the unicorn was surprised to find a pot of freshly brewed tea waiting for her at her workstation. She gave it a sniff, confirming that it was her favorite blend. Smiling for the first time in days, Rarity got to work, humming tunes while she did so, although Rarity didn't notice that the tea was spiked with rat poison.
Oh, God.
That's the ending for you. As the day progressed, she could see Pinky was struggling to set items out on a board, her hooves unable to work the pushpins. Without a word, the decorations floated up and pinned themselves. Casting a light smile her way first, Pinky carried on working. On the fifth morning, Rarity arrived to find not only the tea set, but a cupcake as well? Setting it aside for later, she drank the tea and got to work. As she worked, her nose kept reminding her about the cupcake, which in turn reminded her of the other mayor in the room. And before she knew it, she started to sing while she worked. Even though the two weren't talking, Pinky could be heard joining in. The weekend came, giving the two a break from work. But come Monday, they were back to it. Today, Rarity brought a picnic hamper with her, and come lunchtime, they both camped out in the center of the room. No conversation was held, but the silence wasn't awkward. Both content to eat in each other's company.
And imagine how powerful this would be if they still don't make it up in the end. That would just be so sad.
It's just like Rarity's trying to confess her love by the end of this, and then Pinky just silences her and says, "Thanks for lunch," and then walks away.
Oh,
Pinky gets to break her heart now.
we should write a story like that.
Yo.
I doubt there is a single fan fiction like that in this fandom. I want to just make something like that, man.
Yeah, it seems like whenever people want to make Pinkie Pie, like, not all happy and giddy, they just turn her into sort of an evil serial killer or something. They just, like, make her snap. But having her, like, be cold and calculated seems like an interesting turn.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
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 But the silence wasn't awkward. As the second week drew by, each day heralded a new high in their interactions. But other than singing, they still didn't really speak to each other. As the Friday of that second week came to an end, both mares tidied up, ready to leave. Except this time, Rarity blocked the exit. "Pinky, we need to talk."
All right, just lock her in with you, baby. Yeah, this'll really get her to like you.
She's kidnapping Pinky.
Force her into conversation.
This will make it not awkward. Pinky's face was neutral, neither a smile nor a frown. She just sat down and waited. Rarity took a minute to collect herself. She looked at the pink mare in front of her, remembering everything about her that caused them to come together. "Pinky, I miss you. There's no other way for me to say it, but I do. My home, my heart is empty without you. And I want to say I'm sorry." Rarity started. Her head slightly hung. "When we started working together, it was new and exciting, and I came to find that I enjoyed having you around. Later, I came to love having you around. And then I came to love you." She reached out to grab one of Pinky's hooves. "When Elegant Surprise took off, I reveled in the chance to work with you and enjoy so many parties at your side. But then success started eating at me. Whenever I heard mention of the company, every pony was talking about you.
Have you heard about the latest Pinky party, or did you hear what Pinky did last week? At one point, I introduced myself. They recognized me as your mare friend. When they thought of me, they thought of you."
Rarity cast her eyes down, and then her ears flopped over.
"I got jealous. I wanted to be a household name like you, so I started steering us towards upper scale venues, ones where my work would be noticed. And in doing so, I was hurting you."
You said this was for the money. You suck, honestly.
Yep, I agree.
"My mind made excuses. Money this, bills that. I never stopped to think about why we had even started it."
Rarity kept on going, too scared to see what Pinky's facial expression was.
"I forgot that we started it because we enjoyed it. And I'm sorry that I took that away from you. I never stopped to think that your happiness was more important than anything else, because I know now that to me it is."
Finished, she slumped her shoulders and stayed looking at the floor. A pink hoof found its way into Rarity's vision, reaching past and touching her chin. Gently, it raised her head until she was eye to eye with Pinky. Tears flowed freely from Pinky's eyes, her cheeks sodden, and she wore a relieved smile. With the weekend upon them, they could take a break again. But this time, both mares spent the weekend together, finding that which they had lost. With it, their work together flowed as good, if not better, as it had 2 years ago. Their work was done by the end of the week, leaving them ample chance to begin making up for lost time. And come the day of Twilight and Rainbow's anniversary, neither would be going without a date. Author's note, thanks to everyone who pre-read and edited to my wonderful co-writer Chris. That is the end of Think of You by Misty Meadow. You know, coming into this, we were talking about how Pinky talks so much. This had so little Pinky talking.
That was a real bummer. Yeah, I don't think she said a word in that last half there.
Yeah, they never even got to hear her pop off and be like, "No, we're never getting back together, you piece of garbage, Rarity."
Gosh.
The tears that she had were from, like, rage at hearing Rarity confess that it wasn't about the money.
What I would give to have that. I think it was a good fic.
Yeah.
I think it could have been longer, really could have fleshed out their relationship more, especially at the ending there. I think that was just like, and they're back together. Okay, thanks, bye. But in my opinion, it doesn't last. Rarity just goes back to her old ways, and, well, it's just a really sad tale.
They get back together, but Pinky learns that she just doesn't talk ever during their relationship. That's the lesson.
Rarity really likes to hear herself talk.
Man, would you have forgiven Rarity for that?
Ooh. How many years did that take her exactly?
I think 2?
2 years maybe. I think 2 years there's a chance that they were together for like 10 years, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Then yeah, I think I could probably make it work. I believe in love, you know?
I probably would forgive her. But I wouldn't necessarily get back together with her. But maybe that's just my being a grumpy pants right now.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the relationship was probably pretty weak at first because it was built off of their business. If they can get back together without the business, I think it could work.
Ooh, that would have been good. Man, so many better ideas for this fic to have gone.
I think this fic was good, and my biggest complaint is that they didn't make it longer, which is kind of a good complaint to have about a fic, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I only counted like 2 typos in this thing.
Yeah, I do like, I don't think we've read a story like that before, where it's just like relationship like that. Every other fic we've read that has romance in it at all has ended up pretty well for them.
Yeah.
All throughout the story.
It's like pretty
perfect, no.
Usually.
One that would never come.
Oh, Public Boundaries.
Those had fighting couples in them. I was never worried about their relationship and public boundaries, I'll be honest. When that would never come, I was worried about their relationship. And frankly, I think it had the bad ending.
Where they ended up together?
Yeah. Lyra needed to get the hell out of that one.
Didn't end up that Bonbon was Santa. That was the biggest disappointment.
Yeah. Oh, well. I think all Rarity needs to do to get Pinkie Pie back is to just dress up as Santa.
Yeah.
That's really the message here.
Wasn't the sexy Santa one? That was where she was like trying to seduce Pinkie, right?
Yes.
Clearly, this is a trend. Pinkie likes Santa.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. I'm glad that we read a Raripie fic. I think there could be probably better Raripie fics out there, though, in terms of Raripie content in it. So hopefully someday we'll get that.
I could definitely see the potential in Raripie after this.
They're so different, and yet they bounce off each other better than any of the main 6. Yeah, I said it. They have the best chemistry out of any of the main 6. It works so well. Their episodes together are just like, can't believe that wasn't canon. Nobody even thought of it.
But what about the ship of Twilight with Sci-Twi?
Look, those two don't talk enough for me to actually ship it. Like, of course I ship it, obviously, but it's not good enough.
You think if Sci-Twi came through the portal into the pony world, she would still be like Twilight, just with glasses?
She has actually gone to the pony world.
What?
And she is just Twilight with glasses, except she's not an alicorn, she's a unicorn.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. She hasn't done anything significant ever.
Yeah, she hasn't.
Poor Sci-Twi. At least she's a unicorn at all. Could have been an earth pony.
True. You know, I'm pretty happy about how, like, different the two characters are. The other Equestria Girls characters, they're like, they can differ in some ways to their My Little Pony counterparts, but, like, it's usually very minimal differences that could easily be overlooked. Sci-Twi, you could never mistake for a regular Twi.
I think they should be, like, quite a bit different, because they've not had the development that these ponies have.
I agree. And that's really the major flaw of Equestria Girls. Hey, we should probably end the episode now.
That sounds like a good idea. This episode turned out splendidly long, as I thought it did not. Wow, that's what you want to end on.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Recording.
Nice. By nice, I mean it could have been a little bit better, but that's okay. We'll live with it. It's fine. I don't care.
We can restart it. It was
fine.
one word.
Look, did I say it was fine?
Yeah, but
Then it's fucking fine.
okay. But you usually say when it's not fine.
You're treating me like I'm not a person of my word, and I am, okay?
I'm just trying to say the way I said recording was really bad. We have to restart it.
Okay, so I just stood up and then closed my window because I forgot to close that before we recorded.
Ooh! Look who's unprofessional now.
I was doing that. Hey, shut up. I'm on all fours on my bed right now. It's kind of leaning over.
Oh boy.
I promise it made sense to get into this position a few seconds ago.
You just gotta be laying on your stomach, but propped up on your arms with your legs like kicking in the air.
I don't think that would be a particularly good idea.
It's the classic pose.
That's the classic Spider-Man pose.
I want to see Spider-Man do that.
Me too.